All right, here we are. We're at Come Follow 33, your faith journey podcast. This is our first podcast. I have with me here, I'm Ted Thomas, and we have here doing sound,
Peter Grogan. Yeah. I'm going to be
Peter.
the sound effects guy.
Yes, sound effects and many other talents. But yeah, this is our first time talking about this new podcast that we have decided to go on this journey together to share our faith with others and have them share their faith with us, this journey that we're on. And I'm excited about this. What about you, Peter? How do you feel about
I'm excited. I think we were praying just before we started the podcast. I think both of us are just kind of winging it and wanting to share a little bit of our life. Me personally, I just found Jesus not even 2 years ago, and I'm just I'm glad to be on this journey and hoping to tell you a little bit about how we got here and how our lives are going, and maybe how you can have Jesus in your life as well, or maybe share some of your experiences with us here as well. Again, we're just going to kind of tell our story, have some discussions about our path and how we found Jesus and how we got here to this day.
Yeah, I would say, you're kind of going into your third year, and I'm going into my 33rd year, which is quite different, right?
Yeah,
It's been a long time since I've gave my life to the Lord, but I feel like it's the first day too. Every day is a new day where you get to see where your faith is, how it's growing, hopefully growing closer to God and becoming more like Him. And as a follower of Jesus, it's not always a straight path. And I think on this podcast, I really want to find different people, not just you and I, but maybe we'll have some other guests where we'll be able to hear their story, and hopefully that'll encourage other people to say, "Wow, this person is on this faith journey, and this is how they came." And maybe some people have walked away, some people never have been on a track of faith with God. Whatever it is, we want to just learn from other people. I think that's the other thing. The great thing
yeah,
about when you get a story from somebody else, you kind of get to be a part of their life and encourage them. And I'm looking forward to whether you hear this for the first time and somehow somebody told you about it, or you've heard the story of many people's faith. This is for you. So we're not excluding anybody, people who are of different faith backgrounds. We want to encourage that as well and be open to what God is doing and leading people. Just like you, I think you mentioned there was God draws people to Him,
absolutely. Yeah.
and everybody has a story of how that's happened, and it's not always the same. Sometimes it's a long journey, sometimes it's short, sometimes it's somewhere in between.
Well, you were just talking about your 33rd year and my third year. And you've shared with me before that your excitement kind of built and maybe you were like revitalized
Mhm.
by my enthusiasm. I mean, so just so everybody knows, yeah, I'm about to turn 57 years old. I became a Christian a little less than 3 years, or no, 2 years ago.
Mhm.
And not just to say that I became a Christian, but I was an atheist, and devout's the wrong word, but a very enthusiastic atheist, I think, is the way I would put it. And it's just oftentimes I'll say, "Wow, how did I get here?" And I'm very excited to be here, and my enthusiasm level is really at an all time high. And so Ted was sharing with me that that kind of gave him a boost. Not that he was, lacking in faith, but and so maybe you have that in your life, or maybe you're looking for that boost, and you can find it, or maybe you can help somebody else find that enthusiasm, or find Jesus for the first time.
Yeah, and I think the other part is some people may have started out with a faith journey, right? And have either walked away or said it's not for me. And now I think just in the environment we're in is people are looking for answers.
Yeah,
They're looking for why is all this happening? What the evil that's happening in our world, or just circumstance, or just emptiness, right? Like, there's
yeah,
more to life than life itself, right? There's more to it than maybe just this life. And if we can offer them hope, the hope that we have now that we didn't have before.
yeah,
And I think that's a great opportunity to share. And this podcast, I think, I thought about it a couple years ago about doing something, and I'm like, "You just gotta do it. You just gotta get out there and push
Yeah.
record."
You dive in.
Our guys from Think
Yeah.
Media, I'll give them a quick plug. I've been watching them for quite some time. Sean Cannell's a big YouTuber, Christian guy. He says, "You just gotta push record. You gotta start telling your story." And then what's great about this too is that for you and I, and then other people that come on, this could be something that they share with their family, with their friends, with their kids, with their grandkids. A quick short podcast about their life story,
Yeah.
right? And that could be really encouraging.
Well, and the other thing is the format is something that a lot of people just look for new podcasts, and they may not even necessarily be looking for a faith-based podcast or may not be looking to find God in their life. I mean, I can think of friends and family that I would want to share this with that might just say, "Yeah, I'll watch your podcast." And they might something that they either didn't know they were looking for or were afraid to admit that they were looking for it. And I mean, you summed up basically everything that's been going on with me in the last few years when you said people are looking for something. You can see it everywhere. Everybody's just eager for something to believe in, something to feel good about. I think a lot of young people, that's not us. A
We're
lot of
we're
young
not
people,
you're
and
not
I
young.
wasn't going to say that I'm young. I was going to say that I see that a lot of young people are definitely looking for something because their minds are thinking, is this all there is? And there's got to be something to believe in. You can't just believe in video games and movies. And I mean, I think that's just been everything that a lot of young people have been about their entire lives. And they're just now they're becoming young adults and they're just asking, what else is there?
Right.
And they may not even have heard anything about God, or maybe they don't know anything about the Bible, and they're curious and they're eager. And I think that enthusiasm, and I've used that word a lot, and
Mhm.
it's just,
We'll cut it out.
yeah. So I'll just say E word. Yeah, it's the E word. But I think that it's really it's capturing a lot of young people's attention and older people as well. I mean, I was 55 years old when I finally started going to church, and my wife is just over the moon because she's some years older than me, but
Mhm.
she's been going
Yeah,
since she
careful,
was
careful.
16. Well, I didn't
I don't
say
want
it.
our
I didn't
first
say it.
session to
Yeah,
be canceled,
to be the
so careful.
last. The first to be the last.
There you
But,
go.
she's been going to church and since she was 16 years old and wasn't going because I wasn't going, and so she's just as excited as I am because it's kind of like she's re-energized as well.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I think it's as we're walking in this house, we're as enthusiastic about sharing as hearing, right? And seeing what God is doing and moving in other people's lives and in ours as well, right? I think back to first coming to faith, right after college, and just that fire of I got to tell everybody, I got to share this with everybody because of what God has done for me,
Mm,
right? As God has been so gracious on me that He saved me from all these things that I could have died. A lot of different scenarios where I look back and I'm like, wow, this thing didn't happen. God's hand of mercy and protection was on me. And now, a podcast being a place where I think it's like you mentioned, a low barrier of entry. Because we're talking about there's this, you can come and see, or you can go and tell.
mhm.
And we're trying to go and tell, right? Not everybody's going to want to come to a Bible study, to a church, to a gathering,
Right.
but they might be on the driving on the in the car on the way to work and say,
Yeah.
"Oh, wow, that might spark that interest. That
Mhm.
might be something." God talks about planting seeds, right? Hey, we're just planting seeds out there,
Yeah.
and God's the one that harvests. We're just trying to share the good news of
Yeah.
what God's done with us, and with that, I think some people might be thinking we might need to put this at the front, but it's so how do you 2 know each other? What brought you together?
Yeah.
So why don't you tell them a little bit about
Let's
how
see.
you remember us,
Well, here's what I remember. So we are the same age. I mean,
yes.
I think
Yep.
within a month.
Yeah.
Well,
I think you're the old man.
yeah, I
I'm the
turned
young buck.
57 in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Um, we have known each other since 5th grade. Which I mean, I don't know. Well, how old are you in 5th grade? 11?
11, yeah.
11. So we've known each other
45 years.
46
Years.
years.
Wow.
So we go back a ways. We were in fifth grade. We were in middle school together. We were in high school together. I think high school is when we kind of drifted apart. I became a theater nerd, and Ted was still, the Jocko.
Of all trades.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. And I think that we never stopped being friends, but it was many, many, many years later
Mhm.
that I think it was LinkedIn.
Yep.
We connected on LinkedIn. We got together for a lunch and we sat down and talked about the last 40 something years.
Yep.
Ted invited Valerie, my wife, and he invited the two of us over to play games at his house.
Yep.
And then that night we met a lot of great people from Kings Harbor Church. And man, I went to every man, 2 years ago in May. And then we started going to Kings Harbor Church a week later. So it's coming up on, like you said, I think coming up on a couple of years here. And yeah, so we're friends again, although we've never stopped being friends. And it's kind of funny because it's almost like no time has passed because we're just
Yeah. It is
kind of
fun.
goofy together.
It
So
is. Yeah. It's like we're back in, I don't know,
yeah,
middle school or high
that's how
school.
I remember it.
Yeah.
I think it's right. You know?
I think that's about right. I think if I would add a little flavor to it, I think being in sports and being in theater, High School Musical hadn't come out because I think I wanted to be in theater but couldn't. And
Yeah,
and Peter said, "I don't care. I'm going over there." And
yeah, going to the dark side.
yeah, the dark side. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know. It's equally dark.
yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of things that you know, but we still. I remember, like you said, like, we weren't not friends.
Right.
We went on two different paths, and then
Yeah.
somehow, and I think this is important, and we'll decide if we're going to keep this in for this episode. But the reality is, the way that we connected before I reached out to him on LinkedIn was I just randomly had a dream about him. And I said, I had another friend who liked to connect with people in high school through Facebook. And he encouraged me to, hey, maybe this could be an opportunity. And I was like, yeah, I gotta reach out to him. So I had a dream and he had two girls and he does have two girls. And I wasn't sure what it was all about, but I gotta reach out to him. I always had fun talking with Peter. I like to be around people who make me laugh, and he makes me laugh. So I was like, I gotta connect with him. So yeah, I didn't have his number or anything. I used LinkedIn, and it was kind of just one of those things where something occurred that wasn't me. I wasn't thinking about Peter at all at that moment, and God just used a dream, and he works in mysterious ways, but his ways are not our ways,
Right.
and that just started this relationship back again, and it feels like you mentioned, I feel like we're back in high school or middle school. It's exciting to have a friendship of growing together, and now growing together in the Lord is something
Absolutely.
that's pretty exciting.
And I think timing is everything too,
Mm,
because you contacted me at probably the perfect time because I was, we mentioned earlier, people are looking for something, and I was definitely asking questions and looking for things because I was fed up with a lot of what was going on in the world, and I just said, "There's got to be something. There's got to be something." And I was also tired of telling myself that there was nothing.
mm,
So it was just that the timing was right, and it was great because and I also think that you approached everything in the right way because I didn't put up my guard because I didn't have to put up my guard. It
yeah,
was just, hey, let's talk about the last 40 something years. And that's what we did.
yeah,
We sat down and we had a good lunch and I even think that Ruth asked you if you talked to me about Jesus, and
yeah,
not yet, but no, I think, and anyway, it all worked out. It was the right time, and here we are. And when Ted brought up the podcast, it was like, yeah, you know what? I'm ready. I'm excited to tell stories. I'm excited to hear other people's stories. I'm excited to spread the word, and here we are.
Yeah.
and I'm not shy. That's a good thing.
That is
I think
yes.
neither one of us are shy. We're, competing sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so
I think this faith journey podcast that we're talking about is
mhm,
really a journey.
totally.
People are on this different journey, and you
Yeah,
mentioned I think there's some part of maturity that says, "God's doing the work, I'm not." There's gotta be and I think early on in my faith, it was, I gotta tell everybody, and that I gotta convince them, and I gotta say the right words, and
yeah,
I gotta give them the right answers, and then if I do all these things, then they'll give their lives to God,
yeah,
right? And it was more of a, "No, this is God's timing." Well, there's a scripture that talks about, um, that God does the drawing of people, that God's the one that brings them to faith, not
mhm,
man. And I think we get in the way of that. And maybe good intentions, right? You can
right,
have well intentions of, hey, I know this person, their lives could be forever changed. But when you change it to not your responsibility, there's obedience of talking to people and sharing your story with them.
yeah,
And like you said, it was the right time.
yeah. They just don't know where they're going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep,
And then there's kind of that light bulb moment,
yeah,
right? There's kind of like, whoa, yeah, I want that. I
and I think
think,
you gotta be careful, not careful necessarily, but, I mean, we were sitting down eating earlier, and we're talking about, there's a few people in my life that I can see coming to the Lord and eventually,
mhm,
and, you can just kind of I mean, you can feel the temperature. You just kinda have to I think some people you gotta be a little more careful. You have to play it safe, but still plant some seeds. And so,
mm,
yeah, I think sometimes it's gonna take a little bit of time.
yeah.
Um, yeah, it's just patience.
Yeah, I think one of the things is like feeling the temperature. That's a
Yeah.
good thing is like when people are hungry, they start asking questions,
Right?
right? It's like
Yeah.
you don't have to coax them, right?
Right.
I think that's one of the challenges sometimes churches, like people will make an emotional decision. They'll go and they'll make an emotional decision, and it's really not a heartfelt thing. It's just like something, maybe a situation happened and they're like, "Oh yeah, I really need this." It reminds me of the parable of the 4 seeds a little bit, of what seed did the fall on, and we want it to be seed that falls on ground that reproduces 60, 120 fold, and that's because the soil's already been right.
Been
It's
turned
it's been
and yeah,
turned and there's
yeah,
stuff happening in that person's life, and,
right.
um
But you're not always gonna be dealing with that kind of soil.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's right. It comes back to, again, that's not my job. It's God's in the job, job's not the right word, is in all the plans, right? Now, I just need to be obedient to share. I don't know what God's gonna do, but I'm just gonna be obedient and share, like, "Here's my story.
Yeah.
Here's why I think you should consider this," right? Because of the hope that I have that many people don't have, and they're looking for it,
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, I know that I've heard this from many people that people are hungry to hear you talk about God and talk about Jesus, and it's surprising sometimes how many people are just starving for it. And so when you mention it, that you might get the occasional person that tells you, I don't want to talk about that stuff, or that's not me. But it's surprising how many people are, yes, please, let's talk about it. I want to learn about that, or I want to get to know God. I want to get to know Jesus, and nobody brings it up. I think it was Easter of last year when it's okay. We're going to go around and we're going to knock on doors and we're going to talk to people about it. And it's surprising how many people want to talk to you about it.
right?
And we touched on it earlier. We'll probably touch on it many times, but people are starving for something to believe in.
Mhm.
And I think it just takes that spark. And I think we should be more willing to bring it up with everyone. I mean, maybe I'm just talking about myself because I don't think that I've shared it with enough people, but I think that now more than ever, I think it's the time to uh, to talk about God.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I are we looking for those opportunities? They're in front of us a lot,
Right.
but we're busy, we're not
Mhm.
thinking about, okay, God, what might you do today? Having this expectation of that, hey, God's gonna do something today,
Yeah.
you know? And most of the time, the way I see it, honestly, it's for me. My faith is increased when I put myself out there and God does something. I'm looking for it versus, oh no, I don't know about this. I don't know. I just want to be a person that I use the word obedient because probably I was a disobedient child so much.
I don't
And
know
we
what
are.
that's like at all.
But if we're looking for it, the Spirit of God is moving upon
Yeah.
the earth from the very beginning. And he still is. And he hasn't come back yet. So until that time, I love this phrase that somebody shared with me about being ambassadors. That word
Mhm.
ambassador is just, you'll probably hear it on this podcast a bunch of times because
Yeah.
an ambassador is the highest ranking official in a foreign land. And we are in a foreign land.
Yeah.
This is not our home. And while we're here, we are the highest ranking official for God.
Ambassadors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, huh?
I think it's great. Seriously, that's who we are. We're the ambassadors.
The ambassadors here.
No, you said something, and I forget exactly what it was, but it reminded me of our community group last night where we were looking at the paper that you handed out, and I think it was you said something you don't want to have a checklist. Oh, I did
Mm,
this today, and I did this many things, and I talked about God, and I read the Bible for 15 minutes, so everything I did it all. I'm good,
yeah.
and can't just have that checklist. So something I apologize. Something you just said just reminded me
Triggered
of
that.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think in our walk, again, I'll come back to in our faith journey, we probably go through these times where, okay, I'm seeking after God. And then maybe there's spells where it's, yeah, I'm just checking the box. I know I need to read my Bible, so I'm doing it, but I'm not really, there's no fruit out of it. There's nothing that is coming forth from it because God is speaking, right? He uses his word to speak to us. And when we actually decide that we want to read it, to learn about it, and to dig in a little bit with it, he reveals to us more and more about us and about him. And that's why we all fall short and we all have times of that. But we want to, as followers, right? I think last night we talked a little bit about also not only seeking God through his word, but then also having that time alone,
Yeah.
having that connect the cord to everything else
Yep.
and just spend quiet time with him, find a quiet space that you can cry out to him. He's there, right? He's
Yeah.
he's there 24/7. And sometimes maybe just being silent before him and just saying, I need to have peace, and the peace is going to come through you through
Yeah.
just waiting. So that's another.
Yeah. The silence doesn't work for me. I mean, it might work for you, but the silence it doesn't work for me. I have to oh,
You got to cry out. There you
yeah.
go. Yeah.
Yeah. They say silence is golden, but I get nervous when it's too quiet.
Yeah.
W-
Somebody said, how long is awkward silence for you? How long is it? How many
Between each
seconds?
word you say.
I had a multiple choice.
Yeah.
5 seconds, 1 minute, 10 minutes,
Oh, a minute would just
indefinite.
be way too
I
long.
know. It's just, oh, I can't.
A minute would be way too long for me. 5 seconds is okay. I mean, I'm okay for maybe 10 seconds. You can Valerie will tell you I'm tapping the table or I'm whistling or I'm snapping my fingers or,
Yeah.
singing a song. And it's because that silence is just
Yeah.
deafening. Okay.
But I'm the same way. I can't have awkward silence. Like,
Yeah.
please, somebody say something.
Yeah.
That's
But that's why I have an hour long drive to work every morning. And I like that hour to listen to the Bible or listen to some worship songs, but mostly it's listening to the Bible on the way to work. And so that's my time alone and I enjoy that. But yeah, it's funny, and this is it's not on the subject, but sort of on the subject. Loves silence. And she'll tell me that, oh, I get in my car and I'll just drive and I won't have any like the radio on or anything. And I just don't I cannot fathom that
no, me neither.
at all. Like I would lose my mind in 20 minutes of silence or 30 minutes of silence. Nope, cannot. No can do.
Can do. Me neither. So that'll be good for this podcast.
Okay.
There won't be any dead silence
No.
for more than five
Yeah.
seconds. We
Yeah.
promise that you'll hear our voices
Yeah.
back and forth.
Because I'll say, now you ask me a question.
I will.
Yeah.
Actually, you're right on cue. Hey, why don't we do a quick plug?
Okay.
We're gonna do a quick these really cool microphones, Moano microphones. They're wireless, which is really cool. So I
Yeah.
can like get up and move around if I want to. I won't.
They look cool.
They look pretty cool. It got multiple colors. Mine's
Yeah.
kind of flashing. It's got an XLR. It's got USB as well. So it's got
Yeah.
like, three ways
Yeah.
to use them and really budget friendly.
These ones we're using are the PD200W Moano and says #1 best-selling internet microphone worldwide.
Worldwide.
Yeah. So we are global,
We are global. Wouldn't that be awesome
right?
if one listener in Thailand, you know, listened to
Yeah.
this or watched it one time? That'd be really
Yeah.
cool.
If you are watching and listening in Thailand, I really love Thai food, so please send some Thai food.
Yeah. And as we're doing this podcast, the plan is for us to get better, right?
Yeah.
Like we want to get better at this so that, be nice. We want open, honest feedback.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
We're learning we're learning to crawl is what
There you
this
go.
is.
I like that.
Yeah.
We'll have a link in here if you want to support us. We're
Yeah.
not doing this. We're doing this
Yeah.
because we want to.
Like and subscribe and
Yes. All those call to actions
yeah,
that we'll get better
we
talking
will.
about that.
We will.
Actually, comments. I think that's what somebody says. Like
Yeah.
in the beginning, you really need comments to say, "Hey, Ted talked too much."
Right.
Yeah.
Or why was Peter wearing a Red Wings jersey?
Yeah, exactly.
Where are you?
Like we're probably losing followers.
Yeah, I won't wear
Like
it.
instead of getting like 1 or 2 or 3, we get
Yeah.
like negative
I
numbers. Did we get a
promise this is
negative
the
number?
only one I'm gonna wear this on. It's a special night.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
I did have a Dodger hat, but
Yeah.
I decided on my
Yeah.
number 2 hat
Yeah.
because I'm second. You're first. I'm second.
That's El Segundo.
El Segundo? It is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Are you trilingual or something? Or
Try to speak another language.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
try any
trilingual.
language
Yeah.
one time.
That's
All
good.
right. All right. Well,
Where are
where are we? We actually haven't done a lot of questions. So this is we kind of wanted to get this first part out as a little bit of background, a little bit about us, but I did have a few things I wanted to bounce off of you just because I think it
Of
would be good
course.
to see where you're at, and we'll kind of bounce around a little bit here on this, but I'd like to talk a little bit about community and how has Christian community shaped your faith so far? I know it's just a couple years in, but how has the community that you've been involved with, how has that helped shape your faith?
Well, I think that it's the community group has definitely shaped my faith. I think for the most part, it's taught me to not judge people. I mean, I know that probably sounds really lame, but I was a very judgmental person.
Yeah, we all are.
Um,
Even still.
yeah, well, I think that it's helped me not judge people because I've met people in our community group that I don't know if I ever would have met them before.
Yeah.
And maybe vice versa. They may have just looked at a guy like me and just said, "Oh, I don't know. He looks scary or he
Mhm.
looks weird."
Definitely scary.
Weird. Well, I think
We
weird.
we could we
You used the term
is it okay to
weird
say
before.
weird?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You asked me why I got so weird. No, and so I think that I've met some really great people in community group that are my friends now, not just a community group either. That's got the word community in it, so
Yeah.
that jumped to the forefront. But when we play games, I've met some great people at game night at Thomas home, in church. I mean, gosh, I've met so many good friends in church, but I mean, I made friends there.
Yeah. You kinda
But I mean,
opened
I think that has helped me, um, and I think in so many ways, just believe. I mean, I was down the path of believing anyway, but it's to hear all these different people's stories and to hear different people's beliefs and how they came to God. It's like this. It helped. It helped shape what I believe and how deeply I believe. Because to be quite honest, when I first said that I believed, I wasn't sure if I believed, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I do.
That
Like
was, but I mean, you and I sat in Starbucks and,
uh
we kind of came to a reality that day. But even then in my mind, I think I was, do I believe this? And you said, I was like, I think I believe this. I feel like I believe this. Community group, church, every man. I mean, when we went to camp,
Yeah.
I mean,
Men's retreat. Yep.
yeah, all of that really helped me realize that, yes, I do believe, and, I can't I can't believe I can't believe I didn't believe earlier.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that Christian community, yeah, has definitely helped me believe
Yeah. And I think,
and not forced me to believe.
yeah, no one's,
Yeah. No, I mean, but
yeah,
that's a huge thing because it was just kind of organic. Seeing all these people are different personalities from different places, and they
different
all have this.
struggles, right?
Yeah.
Different upbringings. Yeah.
Yes, and they have
Different
this
languages.
belief, and it's okay. I believe, and they believe, and I mean, it really brings you together, and
Yeah.
it's
You think
great.
of the Bible talks about every tribe, nation, tongue, right? And
Yeah.
then when you get involved in community, you're like, oh yeah, these people are all really different than I am.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I'm here is because of Jesus. The only reason why these people come together is because of that. Because outside of that, I might do some things with you, but I think one of the challenges for people that are on this journey is a lot of times they want to do it alone. And I get that. There are times and seasons where you need to be alone with God. You need to just find things out. But then God is also this God of relationships, right? He's given us his Holy Spirit. The spirit that he left in us is a comforter, counselor, teacher, right?
Mhm.
He didn't leave us alone. I think one of the greatest things outside of the resurrection is that he left us this Holy Spirit. He conquered death and sin through the resurrection, but then he says, I'm not going to leave you alone. I'm
Right.
going to give you my spirit. And that spirit reminds us of that relationship that we have with God in us to be lived out with others. And I find in community that I get to see God revealed in ways that's way different than what I would think.
Right.
I only have this really narrow perspective of my life and my experience. And then I start to see other people's like, wow, God could do that.
Yeah.
And it increases my faith to be able to see what God can do and that's one of the things that has helped me in my walk with the Lord is to be involved in other people's lives to
Mhm.
see transformation, forgiveness, restoration, reconciliation happen that is miracles. Like
Yeah.
I've been unfortunately, involved in a lot of different scenarios where at the end of the day I'm like, God, you are the only one that could do this. This isn't man. This is you, God, that's able to restore and reconcile people to you and he is a God of reconciliation, which is incredible, right? That we were all lost without him, and then he does that. And I think the other thing, feel like I'm preaching a little bit,
It's
but
okay.
the other thing that I really like to see is that not only does he reconcile people to him, he uses common people like us. I've said this many times, mind blowing. Why would he use me to accomplish his plan?
Right.
I get to be a part of that. So it's hard for me not to want to continue. How can I be a part of that plan again as ambassadors, but
Yeah.
as and then see his plan worked out through his people in ways that just makes my faith just continue to grow. So
Yeah.
that's why I think community is so important because by yourself, you can only lean upon your own understanding sometimes, right? You have God's word and God's given you spirit, but then he brings other people and he uses other people's stories and their experiences to illuminate him, right?
Yeah.
When you hear other people's stories and what they've been through, it's encouraging to you. Then, um, you can continue to follow him because you've seen some other things that have happened, and then you be, you start to believe, and honestly, not only is your faith a miracle, you see the faith of other people and the miracles that they are.
Yeah. Exactly. That's why when I was saying seeing all the different people in community group, that really was solidifying because this is not just one type of person. Because as a non-believer, I had an image in my head of the type of person that is a follower of Jesus.
I wasn't it.
No, no, not at all, actually. But it's just, and like I said, it's solidifying. It's like you see,
Mhm.
I mean, just looking around the room last night, there's so many different people from different walks of life, with completely different, outlooks and different. I mean, everything is different, and they all are have a common thread, and that common thread is their belief in God and Jesus, and I think that's what uh, is enticing for someone like me. I mean, maybe not for everyone, but for me, it's okay. This isn't just this. I
Mhm.
apologize for this, but this Jesus freak, because
That's what
that's
that's what we are.
that's how I looked at it when I saw a certain type of person, and now I see everybody. And I mean, I go to church and I see somebody like Johnny, and I'm okay. This is not at all who I
What a
picture
picture. Yeah.
of somebody who follows Jesus. There's a lot of really great people, and they're all different, and they're all encouraging, and I mean, somebody like Mitch. I'm
Mhm.
sorry, people. I'm just thinking of people when I first met Mitch, what a cool guy.
Huh?
I may never have
You
met
never
this
have
guy.
met you. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
and it's
exactly.
crazy because now, I mean, he's my friend.
Yeah,
Some great people.
yeah.
Anyway, I think
And that's the thing about this faith journey, right? Everybody's on a different part of their own journey, right? Some have not come to faith yet, but they're still on this journey. Maybe they'll see this podcast, so hear about it. Maybe a friend of theirs will be sharing something with them and they'll share their story, right? And people are on different parts of their own journey. And we want to kind of talk about that and
mhm,
how that can be encouraging to you, how you can find a community, right?
yeah,
That when you see that, like you mentioned, all these different people, then it's like all means all.
mm,
God wants all to come to faith and repentance, right?
yeah,
And it's not who we think in our minds, right? It's all. And
yeah,
that's really kind of cool. There's no limit, right? There's no limit to who God could reach out to and their lives be transformed in a way that's like, wow, here's how I was before. And now I have this hope, this eternal hope that I didn't have before. And now how's my life different? My life is now submitted to something different than what I was the God that I had created. And I think
mhm,
that's another episode that we'll have to talk about that. But right, that all people have this opportunity to come to faith in Jesus, and this journey they're on looks different. It can be completely different from somebody who we'll have different guests on here, people that maybe they've been walking their whole life, and others give their lives way later in life, right?
yeah,
And we'll be able to see how God's worked through these things and be able to see how people's lives have been changed by them giving their lives to
yeah.
Christ.
Yeah, and some who probably got lost along the way.
Yeah.
I've heard plenty of stories like that as well. You share your stories with people and you hear, I was a Christian from the time I was 12 years old, and then when after high school, I got lost and came back, and so, yeah, you mentioned having some guests on, and that's our intention, is to have, uh, guests on and have them share their stories, and, I mean, who knows? You may be a guest on our show
Yeah.
someday.
Yeah.
Isn't that exciting?
It is.
It
Yeah.
is.
Maybe they listened to it one time. I'd love to be a guest on that. Right. And we can do this in person. We can also do it remotely. So it's
Yeah,
kind of cool. There's many different ways that with the technology that's out there that we can engage people.
yeah.
Right.
The high-tech ambassadors.
High tech. Okay. I'll go with that. I'll go with,
Yeah,
how about some tech
yeah,
ambassador?
the tech.
I want to be above
Yeah,
low. I don't want to be low tech,
yeah, not low
but I'm
tech.
definitely not high
Yeah,
tech.
medium tech
Yeah.
ambassadors. All right.
We're just gonna keep going. Are you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I was thinking about you had mentioned this story of how some people had come and then maybe strayed away, and then
Yeah,
now they're kind of trying to find their way back, right?
right.
What's that look like? And it reminds me, I'm pretty sure, I don't know, we both went to St. Catherine's for a
I
moment.
did, yeah, when I
Yeah,
was
yeah, it's interesting. We both went to the same church.
yeah, we did.
We
That
both
was when I was forced to go to church.
You were forced?
Yes,
You know, I wasn't. I guess I was forced in a way. I think I shared the story with you.
you did. With your
All right.
grandmother?
My grandmother, who was
Yeah,
devout Catholic, I believe she's a born again Catholic, and I'm going to see her again. I didn't go to church, but one day, um, it's kind of a funny story. So I should share it
you should share it.
because it started my journey. Actually, my
Yeah,
journey had nothing to do. Like God was not part of my life in any way. And one day, my grandmother called my mom and said, "Hey, there's something wrong with the car." So me and my dad got in the car, went over there, and there was 2 cars in between that were exactly the same car. They were '66 Chevy Malibu, and they were both white, and she was in one car. It was a 4-door, but, hers was a 2-door,
Okay.
and she something's wrong. It won't start because
Oh,
back then the
right.
door keys were the same.
Right.
Us older people would know door keys were the same for the old cars.
What's a door key?
Yeah, exactly. I don't even know. But after that happened, and it's like, that's not really that big a deal. But my parents were like, "We really think you should go with your grandmother to church." And I was like, I don't remember exactly what it was like. Yeah, I'm excited about it. Let's go. It was more of like, you know what? This is my grandmother. She lived
Yeah.
with us. I loved her dearly. She was just an amazing grandmother. I was like, okay. So my journey started with going to church with my grandmother, and I didn't go to catechism. I didn't go through confirmation. I didn't do all that, but I learned everything about the traditions of the Catholic faith,
Yeah.
and did that for a couple of years until she got sick and couldn't go to church. But it was an introduction to God and Jesus and the faith. It didn't have any roots, but it was the beginning of my journey. And I'll share later kind of how I came back. But how did that start for you?
You mean all the way back
Yeah,
to
all the way
the
back.
Catholic Church?
Yeah, yeah. Because that is part of your journey,
Well,
even
it
though
is.
it's not
Yeah.
like something where, oh, I came to it, but it
Oh, it's
was something.
true. So my grandmother was from Scotland. She was a devout Catholic, God-fearing. Shame on you if you didn't go to church. And I think she instilled that in my dad. My dad was raised Catholic. My mom was not raised Catholic, but when they got married, she she was excited to I guess absorb that Catholic religion. And so I think she was actually more into it than my father was. I was the youngest of 6 and we
Oh,
all had to go.
yeah.
In fact,
Even the baby of the
yes,
family had
and I was the youngest
you
of
didn't get off.
6.
You didn't get off,
And
huh?
no, and I vividly remember my dad standing next to me with his hand on my neck, just holding me the whole
You're
time.
gonna run out
Yeah,
or what?
I don't know, but
You're
that's my memory of Catholic church.
our
Now,
parents, we remember
yeah,
things.
but I do remember that as a kid, and I was a pretty weird analytical kid.
That word weird keeps
Yeah,
coming
I know, but whatever. I'm an 80s weird new waver, you know,
with good hair.
believe it or not. Um, and I remember as a kid just looking around the church because I mean I really what I did like about Catholic Church is I loved the architecture. I really loved the history. So there was a lot
Oh,
there.
yeah. It's
Even though I
incredible.
remember even as a kid just going, I don't know about this God thing.
Yeah.
This is weird. Weird.
Mhm.
There it is. I'm going to stop using that word. And so that I guess looking back, yeah, that was the beginning of my journey. And just we stopped going to church. I don't remember exactly when that was, but I was still young when we stopped going. And then we became the Christmas Eve, Easter
Yeah.
Catholics, and then we just became non-church going. And I think high school till I was in my 50s, it
I'm
wasn't
gonna stop there. That's gonna be the cliffhanger.
okay.
We started our journey.
Find out next time
Yes.
what happened,
Find
you
out
know?
next time as Ted and
Did
Peter.
he
Yeah, exactly.
what
You
happened?
like that? How I threw that? I
Yeah.
don't want them, I want them to have
Yeah.
this, "I gotta come back
Yeah.
next
Make
week."
sure you tune in. Make
Yeah.
sure you like and subscribe and
Like and subscribe,
yeah.
and actually, I'll say it again, if you put some comments, you can only make us better,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Uh, by giving us a comment, and we'll have some links down below, for Moano and some other things as far as, some affiliate links that'll help pay for this channel. That's what we're looking to do is just pay for the channel, share people's journey. We're really encouraged by if you were able to join this first episode, you got our first episode.
Yeah. And tell some friends. Maybe just send it to a couple of friends and say, "Hey, what do you think of these guys?"
Yeah.
These old guys.
Yes. Not old yet,
Well,
older. How about
yeah.
older?
Yeah. The bald guy's older.
Yes, he
Yeah.
is much older.
Mm,
He is a senior
that's okay.
group.
Well, yeah, senior citizen living in a 55 and over
Hey,
mobile home park. It's
you go.
great.
There you
I
go.
mean, that's living the dream, really.
There you go. Hey, what else do you wanna share? Our first episode, anything?
Man, you put me on the spot.
I
What's
actually
that?
do have something for anybody who is a guest, and we won't do it on the show, but they will get something if they do come as a guest for us. I do have a something for them.
Awesome. Okay.
You wanna hear what it is?
Your curiosity killed the cat.
Well, this cross back here, anybody that comes, we're gonna have them sign their name
That's cool.
to say
Yeah.
sort of like, "Peter was here."
Yeah.
Remember those?
Yeah.
We used to say that?
Like,
That was our graffiti.
yeah.
Peter was here, Ted
Yeah.
was here.
Uh,
Uh,
have a nice summer. See you next year.
yes, have a
Yeah.
nice summer.
Yeah.
Stay cool.
Yeah.
Stay cool.
Too good to be forgotten.
I don't think we have that
Yes.
one.
Somebody knows that one.
Yeah, so if you
Um,
end up being a guest, you'll get to sign our cross. So, I wanna thank you all for joining Come Follow 33, Your Faith Journey podcast. This is episode 1. We're gonna put it in the books. Hopefully you'll get a chance to, like, subscribe. You'll see it on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music,
Yeah.
and if you wanna follow us on Instagram, we're at Come Follow 33.
okay.
And you'll see some clips of this. Again, promote us, help us out.
Yeah.
We're just a couple guys that want to share the love of Jesus with people and find out about their
Absolutely.
journey.
And try to keep the comments as nice as possible. All right. We really do encourage comments, and we'd love to hear what you like. Maybe just share some experiences, and we can share them with people or not share them. But we really do appreciate it. This has been a lot of fun. I'm very thankful that you are having me as your sidekick.
You are my first guest,
Yeah.
so
So feels good to be here. I think I'll be here next time too.
yes, I do.
So thanks again. And we really do appreciate it. And thanks for letting us share a little bit of our journey. And we hope that God blesses all of you.
All right, that's a wrap.